Hi, this is Ian Lamont, founder of Lean Media Consulting and an independent publisher on Amazon for more than 10 years. Today I'm going to talk about the right way and the wrong way to let employees or service providers use your Amazon Advantage account. If this helps, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. We're looking at Amazon Advantage. This is for media publishers, publishers of physical things like books, CDs, and DVDs. Amazon Advantage is not really a well-known program, but for publishers who use it, it's pretty key to their operations. And I've been using it for, I think, 8 or 9 years now, maybe even longer than that. And there's some ins and outs of this program. So oftentimes I'll come in here and I'll need to do something like, manage my A+ content, or I'll need to edit the products, and I'll come to this page. And then sometimes what I need to have happen is one of my employees or service providers needs to come in here and help me out with something like, can you update the cover image for Lean Media, or change the pricing for the Mac OS reference and cheat sheet. And I'll need them to do that. And there's a wrong way to let your employee or service provider have access to your Amazon Advantage account. And the wrong way is giving them your email address and your password to Amazon Advantage, then sending them the link to log into Amazon Advantage, and then they log in and they do what they need to do. So many people do this. And actually, I run into clients or people on social media who said that, I've been locked out of my account. What happened? And usually it often relates to this particular problem. They've given somebody else, like a virtual assistant or an employee or a service provider, access to their account by giving them their credentials, which is just the wrong way to do it. And there's a couple things that can go wrong here. One is that sometimes your employee or service provider shouldn't have access to something like this. For instance, my bookkeeper has access to my Amazon Advantage account. I'm going to show you how I set that up in a little bit. But they shouldn't have access to this part of it. They shouldn't be editing the details of the LinkedIn reference and cheat sheet or changing the price. And they also shouldn't be dealing with things like tracking shipments. Conversely, my printer, who also has access to my Amazon Advantage account, they should not be looking at my remittance details or my financial details. And basically what I've done is I've set up permissions so certain people have access to certain parts of Amazon Advantage, but not the other parts. So basically it's kind of on a need-to-know basis. So that's one thing I wanted to say about that. So make sure that the right people have access to the certain content on Amazon Advantage. The other thing is Amazon is so paranoid about people either hacking into others people's accounts and stealing money or corrupting the data, or they're worried about somebody doing something that's against Amazon's terms of service. So if you're a seller on Amazon or you're using Amazon Advantage, you should know you shouldn't have more than one Amazon Advantage account. But if they think that, oh, this person's running more than one Amazon Advantage account, we're going to have to shut both of those accounts down. And all of a sudden, the publisher's locked out of their account, not because they're running two Amazon Advantage accounts, but because they're using a virtual assistant who has another client. And all of a sudden, Amazon thinks that, there's this person logging into this Amazon Advantage account by i30 Media, and they're also logging into someone else's Amazon Advantage account. Therefore, they're operating two Amazon Advantage accounts, which is against terms of service. So these issues where you're giving somebody else your login credentials and then it's causing either problems with the way that your business operates, or Amazon thinks that you're breaking the rules or you've been hacked, that just leads to a lot of unnecessary grief. And I've worked with clients before who've operated this way, and untangling the mess is a huge, huge challenge. I actually don't like to deal with these issues because it's so fraught and the clients are so frustrated with it. So let me show you the right way to give somebody else permission to use a certain part of your Amazon Advantage account. You're going to go to the right side of the screen where the gear icon is, and then you're going to check off Manage Permissions. I'm not going to click on that here because that will show the names and contact information of the people that I usually work with, but select that, and then you'll come to a screen that looks like this. So you can see I have 4 people with permissions. This is me. And actually, if you want to reach out to me and talk with me about my book business, that's the address to get me at. Global Administrator, all global permissions. That means I can do everything, as it should be, because I'm the owner of the business. There's one other person who has global permissions. That's my employee, a trusted employee. So they're set up with those permissions. And then there's 2 people up here. One of them you can see is the printer. You can see that they've been called a contributor, and they have access to 2 areas, purchase orders and shipments, nothing else. This person is someone who deals with the finances, and they have different sets of permissions. Although I can see shipments is overlapping, and that's possibly because they want to be able to see what inventory is in stock or has been sent out or whatnot. So anyways, that's how these permissions are set up. And if I wanted to add another person, I'd click add another person. And then what I would do is fill out a form which basically says what permissions that they have, and also you give their email address, and then Amazon will basically reach out to them and say, hey, you've been invited to manage this account. Click here to be approved or sign up. So anyways, let's take a look at what those fine-grained permissions look like. So this is one of the folks who has access to my Amazon Advantage account, and this is the contributor permissions. If I'd given that person admin, that means they can basically do everything. And you have to be really careful about giving admin permissions to anybody. It should be someone who's basically helping you run the business. It shouldn't be anybody else. And if a service provider comes to you and says, hey, I need admin permissions for everything on Amazon Advantage, I'd be really careful of doing that, because what service provider should have that level of control over your account? It just screams out to me as like a huge mistake. So don't really think carefully if a service provider is asking for that. I've been an Amazon seller and an Amazon publisher for a long time. I've never run into any service provider who has demanded admin level roles for everything on the account. So if someone comes to you and says, hey, I can be your virtual assistant, but I need admin level, don't do it. Really think about what they should have access to. And it's okay for you to say, no, that doesn't work, and either find another service provider or figure out what they really need access to. So in most cases, when I'm getting somebody else to help me with certain aspects of the business, like a service provider, like let's say a bookkeeper, all right, contributor, select this person's permissions. And you can see I've gone through, in some things, I've let them access. Cost and inventory, yes. Blogs, access applications relating to blogs. I didn't even know Amazon Advantage has blogs, but no, they can't do that. Customer interactions, no way. There's no way that a bookkeeper should be able to have some interaction with customers. They should have access to financial reports, and you can see I've toggled that on, and so on. Create invoices. So my bookkeeper, all they're doing is they're just tracking the finances and the inventory for my business. So they should not have the ability to issue an invoice or anything like that. So you can see I've gone down through the list of permissions and set the things that this service provider should have access to. Professional service providers who've been doing this a while, they'll tell you what they need access to. And usually it's pretty reasonable. Sometimes, though, I've said, do you really need access to Design Central if you're the bookkeeper? And if they can't explain why, then I just won't give it to them. So it's okay for you. It's your business for you to tell them, okay, you can have access to these things, which you need, but other things, no, it's not going to work. And then, as I said before, think long and hard about giving anybody else admin access. Now, by the way, regardless of whether they're an admin or a contributor, Amazon will send them a message via the email address that you provided so they can accept this particular role, and then they will have their own login. So they will not be using your email address or your password to log into the account, as it should be. So that's the ins and outs of doing permissions on Amazon Advantage. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. And this is Ian Lamont. I'm the founder of Lean Media Consulting. If you go to leanmedia.org and then click on blog and search for Advantage, and I have all these posts about dealing with Amazon Advantage. As I said before, I've been a publisher for a long time. I like sharing my knowledge and my expertise, and hopefully these posts and these videos will help you out too. Thank you so much for watching.